Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world. Hello, friends. So yes, miracles do happen. And of course, we can't predict where, when, or how they'll happen. It's a mystery. But one priest says that it is dependent. It depends upon our faith, upon our prayers, upon our willingness to fast, sacrifice, and atone for our sins. But here's one miracle that can still be attested to by hundreds, if not thousands, who were present at the time. And there remains a statue and a shrine to honor that miracle in Manila, in the Philippines. Back in the mid-'80s, the president of the Philippines was Ferdinand Marcos. He was certainly not the popular leader. Well, his opposition, Ninoy Aquino, was assassinated. And so his wife, Corazon Aquino, ran against Marcos and actually won. But Marcos, through illegal actions and a fraudulent media, lied and twisted the results and declared himself the winner. Anyway, the people rose up against his tyrannic rule and took to the streets of Manila. Well, Marcos sent his army out to quell the rebellion. The rebellion, if you will, also included hundreds of thousands of religious priests and nuns and Catholics who took flowers and food and images of the Blessed Mother of Jesus, and they fell to their knees and prayed the Rosary in the streets. That's the type of a rebellion this was. So President Marcos sent his full army with tanks and armored vehicles into the streets to control and stop the crowds. He was willing to use his military might to massacre the civilians to stop the protests and keep his power. But as the soldiers started to advance, the prayers of the people were heard. The soldiers looked up into the sky and they saw a cross-like figure. Nonetheless, they continued to advance, and the people continued to pray the Rosary and to sing the Ave Maria after each decade. All of a sudden, the soldiers became awestruck and stopped in their tracks. In the sky, they saw a beautiful woman encased in a bright light, and then she stood before the tanks. The light was dazzling, and then the crowd saw her too. According to many of the soldiers, quote, a beautiful woman dressed in blue with heavenly eyes appeared in front of them, extended her arms outward, and spoke in a heavenly voice that was clearly audible to everyone. She said, "Dear soldiers, stop. Do not proceed. Do not harm my children. I am the queen of this land." The soldiers immediately dropped their weapons, withdrew back, and then actually joined with the people to resist and fight with them against the Marcos regime. The soldiers claimed that this was indeed the Virgin Mary, and the television cameras covering the event prompted many thousands to come out of their homes in celebration, yelling, "Mother Mary is with us." Did it work? Well, President Marcos and his family abandoned the presidency and fled to Hawaii that very night. Now, the Roman Catholic cardinal of the Philippines was Cardinal Jaime Sin, and he vouched for the truth of the apparition. He said, quote, yes, this was indeed Mary, and since the soldiers obeyed this woman who appeared to them, and they did not follow orders to fire upon the people, then President Marcos had nobody to give him any power or support. This is when he fled from the Philippines. This was the end of him. He also told of how the soldiers later came to him in tears, awestruck by this heavenly woman. And the cardinal told of one other thing. He said that later he had met with Sister Lucia, the last living visionary from Fatima. And while Sister Lucia had no access to newspapers or television or the radio, she knew and recounted every one of the details of what had happened directly to the cardinal. She then said that Corazon Aquino was a gift to the Philippines, and that through her leadership, actually China would begin the process of becoming a Christian nation. 10 years later, a church and a shrine was built and dedicated to our Blessed Mother as Mary, Queen of Peace, the patroness of EDSA, and it stands in memory of a corrupt regime and how the Filipino people, filled with love and faith, were able to overcome guns and power. It also stands as a fitting place for Our Lady of Peace to look over her children and keep them hopeful and peaceful now and in the future. Hey, be safe, be well, and yes, believe in miracles. They do happen, and may God bless.